Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pathways with Sweetling. I hope you guys are good. I hope you guys are amazing. If you are new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Welcome to Psychology Pathways with Sweetling, where we guide future registered counselors one pathway at a time. My name is Ledwaba, and I am so glad that you're here. Let's begin. So we have another episode with a lovely guest again today. As you can see, I am not alone. I am with my colleague, my cohort member, Lebu. Hi, Lebu.
Hi, Sita.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
I'm alright, thank you. So Lebu is here to come shed some light on registered counselling, the journey of getting there, particularly through the BPsych Equivalent / PGDip in Psychological Counselling. And she's going to be sharing her story here today. So I hope that you're going to learn a thing or two or even more. And I hope that you're going to enjoy the video. So if you are interested in something like this, please do stay tuned and we can start.
Right.
Ready?
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure, Lebu. So what I like to start with is I like to tell my guests that I like to let my guests know that they can just tell us a little bit about themselves. So who is Lebu? Mm-hmm. You can even introduce yourself. Who is Lebu? Maybe where do you come from? What's your journey been from maybe undergrad? Mm-hmm. How did you end up in registered counselling? Why registered counselling out of the many psychology disciplines? Yeah.
All right.
The floor is yours.
Okay. So my name is Lebogang Maroleng. I come from Witbank, actually, a small town in Witbank, but we eventually moved to Pretoria. So went through the whole process of, when you're in matric and you're getting ready for university and you're sort of deciding what's next. And I think psychology always appealed to me. So I applied for psychology and I got accepted to do my Bachelor of Social Science at the University of Cape Town.
Okay.
So yes, I did my undergrad at UCT, and it was an interesting journey. Very, there was quite a bit of pressure, I must say, and also being so far away from home, I felt like I had to adjust to a lot of things. So but overall it was a good journey. I definitely knew that studying psychology is what I wanted to do. So it wasn't a surprise that at the end of that, I applied for my honours and I ended up getting accepted for my honours at SECAP.
Okay.
So yes, but that was during COVID.
Okay.
So that was a very interesting ride for me. So basically did my whole honours degree while at home. Okay. It was lockdown.
Was this academic honours?
This was academic honours, yes. I was accepted by SECAP Cape Town, but I obviously couldn't be in Cape Town due to lockdown. So went through my academic honours journey, and at the end of that, I actually decided to take a bit of a break. So this is when I got into corporate. And I know a lot of people are just like, how? Psychology, corporate. But I genuinely felt like I needed the break at that point in my life. So that opportunity came up for me, and I worked in corporate for about 2 years as an immigration consultant.
Okay.
Yes. And just a side note, I think a lot of people think there aren't any avenues that you can do with your honours in psychology, but there actually are. They're hard to find, but they definitely are there. So yes, did that, and then at the 2-year mark, I decided that, I actually want to get back into psychology. I want to give it a go. And so I applied for masters, but unfortunately, I did not get in.
Okay.
So,
masters in?
In psychology.
So just on academic masters in psychology?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, normal academic masters. Because I think the goal for me was always to go into clinical specifically. So I really wanted to try that out, but I didn't get accepted. So I found out about the BPsych Equivalent Programme offered at SECAP. So I decided to take that route and apply for that. And here we are today. Sorry, that was a very long story, but yes.
I mean, it's always a journey coming into any specialization within the field of psychology. I don't think anybody it's just like go. There's always something that leads you there. I mean, even for some people, it's their life that led them into even studying psychology. For some people like you, it's always been a passion, and then there's always been this bumpy ride here and there. It's always some kind of a journey.
Yes.
And yeah, it's those experiences that actually make you a really good candidate for the professional programs.
Yeah.
Are you happy about registered counselling?
Yes, I'm so happy. Like, honestly, I've grown so much. Like, I've grown in so many ways that I couldn't have imagined. So I'm so glad that I took a chance on myself and I didn't let that, rejection from not getting into masters stop me. And yeah, I can actually see that with this program, it can open so many doors for me. So yeah.
All right, still have plans for clinical psych in the future?
Hey! Honestly, you can never say never. We'll see. If it's in God's plan for my life, then we'll see.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for sharing, Lebo. I think we all have a good idea of who Lebogang is and what kind of experience she's somewhat going to share with us today. All right, so you've explained as to why you chose the BPsych Equivalent Programme and how you ended up in this program. I just want to find out, what was the application process like for you?
Oh, now I have to go back. Honestly, the application process wasn't bad for me. I think it was because I had applied for the academic honors in 2021. Applying for this, I was familiar with how SACAP functions and how to navigate the whole application process. So that went well. Yeah, can't complain.
Okay. And then in terms of the applications, were there any challenges in the applications? Was it your first try, or had you applied for the program before?
Yeah, it was my first try, and honestly, I can't say there were any complications. If I'm being very honest, everything was pretty straightforward. I think if I ever did have any questions, I was able to call into the reception and basically ask whatever clarifying questions, and those were answered. Sure. So it was quite seamless on my side.
Would you say that having administrators that are very involved in the students' application process makes things easier in terms of the administrators from the institution helping or availing themselves to help with applications for the students?
Yes, I think it really helps. And just to know that you've got a line of contact. So actually I would say that no, but actually, yeah. So having someone like a line of contact that you can reach to help you if you have clarifying questions, I think that's very important, because even though you can see what you're applying for, you might not really have an understanding of everything that comes with it. So I guess if you have clarifying questions, it would help to have someone who can help you.
All right. So we need to say kudos to SACAP.
Yeah.
In terms of admin, they kind of got it on lock.
Yeah.
And making sure that the application process is as seamless as possible.
Yeah. But I do want to acknowledge that everyone's experiences are different. So even though that was my experience, it may not be the same for someone else. Yeah.
Sure, thank you for clarifying on that, because yes, we don't ever want anybody to feel disregarded or make anyone feel like their experience is disregarded or is invalid, because obviously we do experience things differently. Thank you so much for sharing, Lebo. What is one thing you wish you had known before applying for this program?
One thing I wish I'd known. I think Okay, so with the BPsych Equivalent Program, there are two parts to it. So the first year, it's very like theory based. So you're doing, all your modules, academic modules, and that's for the year. And then the next year, you go into, I guess, the practicals. So you will get placed at sites, and then that's where you get your practical experience. So I would say I wish I had known more information about the practical side of it. I think in the beginning, because you go through that year of like the theory, the modules, you don't really get prepped for what to expect for the next year. The next year just comes and you're sort of like, okay, this is what's happening. So I think more information regarding practicum and what it entails would have been very helpful.
Sure. And would you say it has been stressful?
100%. Like, yes, it's been very stressful, but like I always say, it's stressful, but it's so rewarding at the same time. So, yeah.
All right. I think that's a very good one, and I think a lot of people can actually resonate with that. I think when you apply for the program, you kind of do expect a level of difficulty to come with it, because we all know that any professional program within the field of psychology is going to somewhat be difficult. I mean, just because it's an honors level program or NQF level 8 and not necessarily an NQF level 9 or master's program doesn't mean that it's not going to be difficult. It's still a professional qualification, which means that you kind of need to be equipped or fully equipped. I mean, the HPCSA needs to be confident in the product that the institution is producing, or the person that the institution is producing, in order to go into the field as an independent practitioner. So I think all the programs for specialization within the field of psychology are probably going to be difficult, but I don't think anybody could have prepared us for how practicum currently looks.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with that. And it's a massive responsibility. Like you said, you're going out into the world and you sort of have the responsibility of people on your hands, you know. There's so many things to consider, the ethical aspects, the, you know, like you said, professional development, all those things like come into play. So, yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. I really do think that that's really going to help kind of paint a bit of a picture for somebody who's planning to apply. And hopefully we can have some videos in future just sharing a little bit about what practicum looks like. Obviously, it may look different for everybody because we're all placed at different sites. Yeah. We're all doing different things within the practicum component. So in terms of even workshops, for example, if we're facilitating workshops, we're facilitating different workshops. Yeah. If community project, we're all doing different community projects. We're all seeing different clients. So it's going to look different for everybody. But I think we all have a shared consensus in the sense that it has been difficult. It has been challenging. Yeah. But like you mentioned in the beginning, it's rewarding.
Yes, 100%.
Sure. Thank you so much for that, Lebo. What has surprised you most about the program?
I think the level of effort you have to put into maintaining a work-life balance. I think that took me off guard. And it's weird to say because I come from, you know, working in corporate and, you know, being a part of that life. But this was so different, you know, and I think because we spend so much time absorbing other people's lives, you can get lost in your own life, especially if you don't create that balance. So I think that surprised me the most, like just how much effort I would have to put into just making sure that I can balance, okay, doing my work, showing up for people, but then also being able to show up for myself just as much. Yeah.
And I think that's something a lot of us can sometimes lose along the way.
Yeah.
And everybody, when people come into the field of psychology, everybody has this passion for helping people, and they just want to help and help and help. And sometimes along the way, you may find yourself losing yourself. And if I remember properly, in one of the modules that we did last year, and I think it was multiculturalism, our lecturer told us that it's always important to stay true to your identity. First of all, look deep inside, find your identity, find who you are, find who Lebo is, find who Sita is, and through that establish your identity and be firm in it, because you're going to come across a lot of people, the people you'll be helping, sometimes even communities, so that'll be large groups of people, and you don't want to find yourself losing your identity or losing your sense of self in the process. If you want to be a good practitioner, you need to be able to stay true to yourself, you know.
Very true. Very true.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. My next question for you is, what has been the biggest challenge for you in this journey?
Biggest challenge. There've been so many different challenges, and I think they've come up in different ways, so it's hard to mention one.
If you don't mind, you can mention
a few.
Yes.
Okay, just to give a bit of context. So one of the sites that I'm placed at, we deal or work with a lot of trauma.
Okay.
So I think going into it, it was very challenging to be in that kind of space. And so also having to learn about trauma-informed practice and being very intentional about that, because, people are letting you into very personal parts of their lives. Because I think a misconception people have is that, counseling, you're just sitting next with someone, you're just listening and giving advice, but it's so much deeper than that. So I think it was challenging for me to have to learn that and hold space for that and see what it brings out of me too. Because you're not only absorbing what people tell you, but even from their experiences, you're learning so much about yourself at the same time. So
Sure.
I'd say that was one of the challenges.
So thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that really speaks into the kind of professionals that we are, and why it's so important to still have human beings being the professionals in this field, because we still bring that humanistic element. I mean, you wouldn't be able to give the best care if you're not somewhat able to view your client and allow yourself to kind of view them and view what they've gone through and be able to understand what they've gone through. But I think the one thing that we sometimes may tend to forget is being able to kind of debrief. The importance of supervision, for example, where you get to sit with your supervisor and actually debrief about your case or your cases, and share, also reflect on how they've affected you as a professional, which reflection is a very important aspect of our profession.
100%. And when you say that, I actually think of times within my site, because we do a lot of things. So not only is it me doing individual counseling with the people who've experienced trauma, but also us going on outreaches. And here you are reaching different places, different people. And what was so nice is being able to come back and unpack with the team, talk about what our highs were, what were your lows, and just debrief on everything that you've seen. So I think it's very important, supervision, having people you can talk to, family, friends too, although you obviously wouldn't be able to go into much detail about your cases, but just having people who can support you and hold you after a long day.
What would you say is the importance of counseling for yourself, even as a professional? I mean, you're a counselor, but what do you think that it's important that you're also engaged in the counseling process for yourself as well?
Yes, 100%. I think I understand it more, that I've been on the other side of it too. So being able to counsel and then also be counseled is so important. So I am currently seeing a psychologist. I've been on a journey with her for about a year now. So I check in with her here and there, and that has really helped because yeah, when you're helping people, you forget that you also need space to vent, to talk about your feelings. So yeah, that has definitely helped me.
And your own personal life also continues, you know. Your personal life doesn't stop just because you're holding space for other people. You don't take over their lives, you know. You still live your life outside of your profession. Sure. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lebo.
No problem.
How have you managed your overall well-being during the program?
Have I managed it is the question. No, I'm joking. If I'm being completely honest, it was a struggle initially. It definitely was a struggle because I think there's that high, and I don't know if you can relate, like when you start with practicum, you're sort of on a high and you're like, yeah, I've got this, I can do this. And then you sort of just, it hits you. At some point it hits you and things get real and you realize that we're dealing with a lot. So I think just like what I said, just making sure that when I get home, I can sort of have balance, know that this is time to work, but this is also time to relax, to have me time, to meet up with friends, to do things that I like. That's so important to me. Self-care is so, so, so important to me. So I think that's how I, handled myself, well-being.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. So the one thing that I've seen, obviously, from some of your posts and all of that, and I was always like, I wish I could do that. You do a lot of meditating, bit of yoga, exercising, Pilates, kind of things, and they look so relaxing and so nice. And I'm always like, I want to do that. But and then I'm like, do I even have the time to do that? And I realized that it's not that we don't have the time to do self-care or to do things, we just don't prioritize it. And the one thing that I've been doing for myself is I've actually been scheduling self-care or time for self-care, because I know that if I don't schedule it, I'm never going to do it. And how am I going to advise my clients that they need to take care of themselves, they need to do self-care, they need to incorporate time to themselves if I don't do it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like I'm a hypocrite, you know. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Just so you know, you are inspiring a lot of us in terms of taking care of yourself and still being able to fully do things that important to you, even though you're pouring into other people. And I'm just reminded of that quote of that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And watching you constantly pouring into yourself really, really makes me really understand why you're such a really good professional in this field. And I can't wait to see you do greater things.
Thank you so much, Sita. But I will say, sorry, just to add to that I also don't want to make it seem like it's this glamorized thing to take care of yourself, because I can't even tell you how many times I've shown up to the gym just wrestling so many things in my mind. So even though I'm there, it's like you're not really there. You just know that, okay, I should be moving my body, but you're still dealing with so much. So I guess what I want to say is don't think or don't have an idea that it will be perfect or that taking care of yourself will just be the seamless thing. It really takes a lot, but as long as you take that first step, you're already on the right track.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's something that I'm also going to take and implement in my own life as well. Thank you. So another question I have for you is, what advice would you give to a prospective student?
There's so much I could say, but I think the one thing, and this has helped me, stay true to your journey. Yeah, so your journey is not going to look like anyone else's. Stay true to the vision that you have for yourself and for your life, and follow that. Because I think even within our own cohort, with practicum, I think some people are doing really well. Some people are maybe feeling like they're fighting for their lives. We're all on different journeys within it. But I think if you stay true to where you're going and what you want to achieve out of it, then that's what matters the most. So yeah, it's like that saying, you know, own race, own pace. And I think that's what you should keep in mind. Don't come into this thinking you need to compare to anyone, you need to follow what this person did. Even with the advice that we're giving, it's a personal thing. You will know what's right for you, no one else.
That's so true. I love that you said, even with what we're sharing, like we're just sharing our experiences, and I think that's what this channel is about. As much as it's going to, or the purpose of it is to help people better understand, number one, obviously registered counselling, and then number two, the BPsych Equivalent Programme, because there isn't that much information out there about this particular program, to be specific. And also, I mean, now it's even changed to the Postgraduate Diploma in Psychological Counselling. So in fact, from now, we shouldn't even be calling it BPsych Equivalent, because it's no longer called that. It's officially the Postgraduate Diploma for Psychological Counselling. And I think even in the experiences that we're sharing, we're not saying that you need to take things as they are, but it's just information for you to kind of see, how can I also look into myself and be able to show up as the best me, you know, the best you, so that you can prepare yourself for the applications, or prepare yourself for the journey, because it's beyond the applications. It's not just about getting into the program. It's not just about being called for selection week. It goes beyond that. You need to be able to envision yourself in the field, in the profession, from even being accepted. And that's the reason why we're here to share these experiences. It's not so that you can take them, internalize them, and turn them into your own thing, you know. And our experiences are all different. Like Lebo shared, our experiences are all different. We're all experiencing this qualification differently. Practicum, we're all experiencing it differently. So I hope that whatever you take from here, in everything that you take from here, I hope the one thing that you do take from here is that you stay true to yourself, just as Lebo shared.
Yes.
All right, so I have two more questions for you. And my next question for you is, what misconceptions do you think students have about the program?
Misconceptions. I'm not sure. That's a tricky one.
Maybe even stuff maybe you've heard people say about registered counselling, about the program, either BPsych Equiv program, postgraduate diploma in psychological counselling, anything related to that.
Yeah, I think the reason why it's hard to answer that is, I think you'll never know what to expect of this program until you're in it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think a lot of, I don't know, I only realized what it actually was once I was in it, especially like I was saying once you got to the practicum and knowing exactly what that entails, from, being placed at these sites, how many hours you need, and all those things. And I guess also with the counseling process, I think another misconception I think people have is that when people view counseling, they think of it as this like airy fairy thing, like, oh, you just, that type of sitting, you're in a, like how we're sitting, you're just in a office, you're just talking. And guys, it goes so beyond that, it's so much more. And the role of a counselor can look different. Yes, maybe you could be in your practice and speaking to someone, but you could also be out there in the field doing community work, doing outreaches. So yeah, I think maybe that's a misconception, what people have surrounding what counseling entails. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think what you said when you said you'll only know what it actually is, or what it actually looks like once you're in. It's the same thing as when you do your undergrad, and I think even more so for individuals like you who've also done their academic honors. You probably feel like, yeah, I can do this. Put me in a room with a client and I can help the client. I can, analyze the client. I can this. I can even diagnose the client. You'll think you can do all of those things. And then you come into this field and you start learning. And I think even from last year when we're doing the academic component of this program, I realized, honey, I was not prepared for nothing. I literally just knew textbook knowledge. But in terms of how to apply it, I knew nothing. In terms of what to apply, when to apply it, how to apply it, I knew nothing about that. And that's the reason why I think a lot of people who are in the profession always advocate for you getting into the program and actually getting registered with the HPCSA, because this program has been structured in such a way that by the time you finish, you're actually really prepared to go into the field. You know exactly what your scope of practice is, and I promise you will practice. Even in your dreams, you will practice within your scope of practice. Because if you understand what is at stake, not only in terms of you as a professional, but even in terms of your clients, you start to see things in a more professional sense. You start to understand why the HPCSA has all of those ethical guidelines, why you need to follow certain protocols, why you need to follow certain processes. You only start to understand the depth and the necessity of all of those things once you're in the program.
Exactly. And that's why I said it's a massive responsibility. Don't take it lightly. So I would say if you're planning to get into this program, really just know what it is that you want for your life and being able to commit to that, because it is a big responsibility, not for yourself, but in the people that you'll be encountering every day.
Sure. Thank you so much for that, Lebo. I hope that's really going to help people kind of reflect and go into their thinking rooms and start to actually think about, is this really the field I want to go into? Because I think with the challenges that we had sometimes in practicum, or that we still have now in practicum, sometimes you question, am I in the right field? Like, did I really sign up for this? I don't remember signing up for this, but like you mentioned in the beginning, it's all becomes worth it. It's fulfilling, and you start to realize why it has to be this difficult, why you have to overcome these challenges, So I think that's something to definitely keep in mind when you are looking to apply for this program. Then my last question for you, Lebo, is if you could change one thing about your experience in this program, what would it be?
If I could change one thing. I think to not take things too seriously. And I know that kind of contradicts what I just said, and that it's a very serious thing. It is. But honestly, you have to have a certain level of just like, you're doing something very serious, but also learn to see the good parts in it, the light in it, because there are so many just beautiful moments. Like I said, it's a rewarding experience, but you just have to be able to open your eyes to those things. So if you're always complaining, if you're always seeing the negative, you're probably going to have a negative experience. But if you're open to what's out there, the possibilities, how you're actually impacting people's lives, I think that's just what makes it just a beautiful experience.
And to be honest, there are some fun parts as well. There are some fun parts as well. And I think one of the fun parts for me in this entire practicum has been my community project, doing this, because I remember beginning of the year last year, so like a lot of us in this cohort, a lot of us had to quit our jobs to actually get into this program, or to be able to come and do this program, because it's a full-time program. And I was doing work in the digital marketing space. and I enjoy digital marketing, I enjoy content creation, I enjoy all of these kind of stuff. And when I was thinking about a community project, this came into my mind, and I was like, how can I merge? Because I've always wanted to merge like digital marketing or even content creation with psychology. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but I didn't know how I could possibly do that for myself in this field. And I came up with this project.
Here you are.
Yes, and I'm actually really enjoying it. Like I enjoy sitting down and having conversations, and as much as we've had some conversations in class, outside of class, whether we're doing whatever we're doing, but we never have conversations like this where we can just like sit and share about ourselves. There's things that you've shared here today that I didn't know about you, and it's so lovely to hear about all of those things. And I can't wait to even edit this video and kind of like put everything together and share it with the world, share it with the people who it can impact, you know. So these are some of the fun parts as well, and it's like you mentioned, some of the fulfilling parts of it, when you see the change that you're actually imparting in somebody's life.
Yeah, so that's one thing I would change, because I think I came into it wanting to be a little too rigid and structured about things. I know that is part of my personality, but maybe took it a little too far. So yeah, just finding the fun moments. And even with what you said, bringing like digital marketing into psychology, I think maybe that's something else I could just, you know, advise people is don't limit yourself. There's so much you can do in the field of psychology. So even if this doesn't work out for you, explore other ways, or think about how you can merge different things together.
Definitely. And I think one of the beautiful things about registered counselling is how flexible it is. Yes, it's flexible within your scope. Obviously, you still need to practice within your scope or do whatever you're doing within your scope of registration, but there's so much flexibility when it comes to registered counseling, because there's so much work you can do, there's so many things you can do. You're not limited to seeing clients one-on-one. You could become a registered counselor who doesn't even see clients, you know, for the rest of your life, but you do registered counseling work. So I think that's the beautiful thing about this beautiful profession that we're in, is that you find that there's so much that you can do, you know, in terms of helping people, helping communities, and sometimes in turn also helping yourself.
100%. Said that really well.
Thank you so much, Lebo.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you taking your time to come and sit here with us and sit here with our community and actually impart a lot of the wisdom that you have and share your journey with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. And I also just want to say that I'm so proud of you. Guys, there's nothing more like just amazing than watching your cohort members just do amazing things. So this is an amazing project and I'm really proud of you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Lebo. I can't wait to see us do even more stuff in future once we're like an independent practice, coming together, bringing our different things together and just, you know, impacting the world, helping people out there, improving mental health within South Africa. I can't wait to see that.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to everyone that has been a part of this community. Thank you to everybody that's joining the community today. Please don't forget to hit that like button. Leave all your comments in the comment section below. If you have any more questions for Lebo, please do leave them in the comment section below. Hopefully, this is not the last time we see Lebo on this channel. So yes, please do leave those questions in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can stay up to date or stay notified whenever we do post more content on this page. See you guys in the next video. Bye.